Alrighty, good evening and welcome to the Tuesday night music show without the people who talk music, or at least some of the people who talk music.
Hey, I talk music.
I know, and I get confused and then I cry and then, but I got a corner to cry in tonight, so I'm good.
Oh, you hang just fine.
Yeah, sometimes you do.
We'll throw you a Huey bone here and there.
There you go. So typically on Tuesday nights, and these are recorded, Jay Brannon is filling this spot, and you have Howie and Brian, but I saw Jay, and I think he's kind of busy in Las Vegas tonight.
Yeah, he's gigging. He's gigging, so we'll let him gig.
Yeah,
we don't need him.
I saw a picture of Jay out there, and it looked like he was about 10 to 12 people deep.
Yeah, everybody wants to see that new gear.
Yeah, well, no, they wanted to come and see Jay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Pioneer. That's just
Jay definitely holds court out there. He does a good job.
He does, and he's clever too, because I watched Rachel's video and she goes, "I'm going to do something. I hope I don't get in trouble." I'm sneaking over to the Pioneer booth and I get a picture of the Rev 7, and they had taken it. Jay took it back to the room. The table was empty.
Oh, funny.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
story.
I was looking at some musical conspiracy theories today.
Oh,
interesting.
Well, I was just bored and I was flipping through and it just popped up. And there was, have you heard the Paul McCartney one? Do you know?
No.
Well, okay, Howie knows it. The conspiracy theory with Paul McCartney is that he died in 1965 in a car crash.
Okay.
Right.
And they brought a guy in named Billy Shields from Wales or something and did some plastic surgery on him. And he's the replacement Paul McCartney, because Scotland Yard apparently told them, hey, we can't tell the public that Paul McCartney has died because they'll flip out and they'll riot. So we have to get a replacement. And there's all these goofy signs on the album covers. And if you play songs backwards, it says "I buried Paul" and all this crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was something that actually a Detroit radio disc jockey
jumped on.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was talking about it, and there was a caller who called in and said, "Hey, play the song backwards. You'll hear him say Paul is dead."
And you got to be looking. It's kind of like looking at a cloud and saying, "Hey, that looks just like my mom."
Right?
Like,
you got to be looking for it.
If you're looking for it, that cloud will look like your mom.
If you're looking for it, you're going to find it.
Yes.
But I was just thinking, let's just pretend for a minute that it's true.
Okay. All right.
Let's pretend that they're right. And some conspiracy theories are real conspiracies, and they, doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take the position just for a moment that Paul McCartney died in 1966. I have a confession to make. I like the new guy better.
That's what I was going to say too. I like some of the Wing stuff much better as I'm listening to Get Back, and I've been working through that a little bit, and it's like, okay, the guys are talented, but I'm bored. I'm really bored watching this. If it wouldn't be for me icing a knee for 6 hours a day, I don't know if I'd be watching this.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I took it for what it was. I understood what was happening. I really appreciated the dynamic. It answered a lot of questions. I really enjoyed that. But yeah, I was just thinking, my God. I mean, let's just pretend for a minute he died. How are you going to find a guy that prolific to replace him?
Oh, well, I know where they found him. They found him on Junior's farm.
Yeah.
You see what I did there?
It's a
music show.
See what you did there. It was just a funny thought I had. I'm like, my God, if he did die, all the cool stuff that he did in the later days of the Beatles, which is the best stuff, all the solo stuff through, like, I guess the mid 80s I really liked.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I gotta admit,
the new guy is awesome.
Yeah,
I prefer him.
Yeah.
If I got to call him Billy from now on, that's fine. But yeah.
So, Robin, music aside, just think of if it was indeed true, how a secret at that level could have been held so tight
I know.
In this day and age, we can't even keep a secret for a half an hour, type of thing. And if that could have indeed have been the case, that's pretty impressive. Very impressive.
None of the Beatles ever said anything. None of his ex-girlfriends ever said anything.
Yeah, exactly.
No one ever said a word.
They all like the new guy.
And, of course, George, Paul, and Ringo felt so guilty about it. They felt that they needed to put little clues out there for the fans and backwards messages, and it's, my God. But I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, the new guy's awesome. I prefer him. And if the new guy is really not really Paul McCartney, then maybe the Beatles kind of sucked. I mean, not sucked, but not as good as I thought they were.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Funny
thought. Robin brought something up earlier. She was in the room.
Yeah.
And she was talking about some of these battery power supply solutions for speakers, like for ceremony and things. And she was mentioning someone, I wasn't familiar with who did a test on some Halo thing, some Halo power pack. And they were able to get an hour and a half out of a speaker. And she felt like, well, that's just not enough. You have to invest in a much nicer power pack. And here's my thought. And I want your feedback on this. Both of you will have some good feedback on this. And it'll probably be different. Maybe not, though. I'm thinking in 2022, why even mess with this when you can pick up an American Audio Apex 12 Go BT for $249 on Amazon? Why even worry about this stuff? You can get a battery-powered speaker with Bluetooth and all the fixins.
Well,
that sounds good.
I can tell you why. Because it was, I believe it was before the pandemic. You had a guy message you, and you pulled me in on it, and he was under the gun that the schedule had changed for the wedding, and they needed a remote speaker. He's willing to buy, but he couldn't get it in time. Would the Omar's power pack power a 12-inch top for a ceremony?
Right.
Remember? And I did a live test right here, and I got 3 hours.
Sure.
Just from the Omar's.
I understand what you're saying, but and I get it, but I'm seeing them available on Amazon right now. Okay, fine. There's one left. Hurry, one left.
Well,
but still, I mean, if you were planning on getting a battery powered system for summer, would you get something like an Omar's, or would you go ahead and just get a purposely built speaker with an 8-hour battery capacity for $250? That sounds good. John, what would you do?
One. That's a tough one because on one hand, I kind of like the sound of what I have, i.e. the Evolve 30 or the Evolve 50. And I know I can get a battery pack that will run that.
Yeah.
So there's that. Then might be something happening in April that would be very interesting in this conversation, but we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
And the last side of it is that, I do have some of those inverters, kind of like the Ryobi version of it and boxes like that.
Right.
I can use cabinets that I have. So in my case, I don't think I would go out and buy the only speakers that have been somewhat tempting to buy that are battery powered are the JBL. And it's not so much because of them being battery powered. Yes, that's nice. But the idea is that you can broadcast to one and then you can link the next four.
Right.
And I could literally surround a tent by, speaker stand pole and that capability it would be huge. That
you can do that with the American Audio.
Can you do multiple though?
You can. Well, I don't know how multiple you can go, but you can do Bluetooth stereo.
You can probably he probably does two.
I'd have to hear him before I'd make a judgment. Because like John said, I like the sound of what I have.
Sure.
And when these were on sale before I let the cat out of the bag, I got this for $200 and it has 2 AC outlets. And I bought one for each 12-inch top and one for the sub. And the tops, I got 14 hours and the subs, I got 8 hours out of the sub. Wow. And I'm like, it's a no-brainer. But the big bonus is the charger for this is just a small wall wart and it's a pass-through. So let's say you're at a venue and it's storming, I would plug into this. If the power went out, I still have sound. I have battery powered lights. It's up to the venue manager now. Hey, you guys want to continue with the reception?
Sure.
They're going to say yes. And then you get to be the hero.
Right. No, good points.
Yeah. The pass through would be definitely a nice feature.
Yeah.
See, you thought we weren't going to have anything to talk about. Look at the great stuff I'm bringing.
I know you become a master of this, because I listen to the shows. You get to about the halfway point, and then that's usually when Jay starts to go.
Jay's had so many White Claws and it's over. I can't do anything else.
So
is that when you turn it off? Because usually at the end, Brian says, "We're going to get fired if John watches this whole video."
So that's why we're still good.
Good job next week. We'll see next week.
I never get that far. So, that's when he pulls out that White Claw. It goes crazy.
Excuse me.
Oh, jeez.
But the whole battery thing is kind of an interesting world because this particular summer I've got a couple of ceremonies that are in difficult locations. Similar in some ways to what Howie experienced when he started, when he built his first complete battery powered system. We're going to be in a family's hunting land where they're going to have everything up in front as far as the reception side of it, where the catering can get to, and kind of an outdoor. I think it might be a log shed of some sort, but anyway, that's going to be up where the vehicles are. But they want to get married back by the deer stand.
Oh, of course.
That's what you do. Yeah,
exactly. Because there's nothing that says love like a deer stand. Right over there is where we got our first deer together. Yeah.
It's love.
So that's going to be one of those situations where we're going to have to go wireless. And in that case, it's going to be wireless and very portable, because I think that will be on the back of an ATV type of thing to get there.
I was just thinking about that. Just getting there logistically is going to be fun. You're going to be four-wheeling like an ATV four-wheeler. Yeah,
that's exactly what they're going to be. They're going to be doing, because I don't even think they can use golf carts to shuttle people back and forth. So they're going to be using, I think, side-by-sides, the 6-person or 6-passenger side-by-sides to get people back in there. And it's not going to be, it'll be like 25, 30 people. So it's not a huge thing, but
Cooter will be back with the Yamaha. He had to,
exactly.
He had to go bring a keg of beer up there. He'll be back shortly.
Back in a little bit. It's great. Step yourself. That squirrel bothers you, just knock him down and clean him up for supper. It'll be great.
Gonna be hunting some vittles on the way back, so it might take him a minute.
But
that's is that a job you're going to do, John?
Yeah. Oh, that one.
Video, or it didn't happen.
Exactly. No, that's one of them. Michael has made it kind of known that he would prefer if there's going to be difficult or unusual. He's not too excited about those. Those don't excite him. And
those are the war stories you get to brag about. You got bragging rights.
I know. Those are the ones that build character. I mean, these ones where you walk in and it's a younger crowd and they want you to play, 90s through the 2010s, and it's like that's nothing. Let's go and play that one. Where we start, and that side of that part of the family hates this part of the family, and then that person over there is really drunken, so decided that they're going to become the moral police. And
there's shotguns somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. We're just waiting for that.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
or brass
somebody's
knuckles.
Armed.
Yeah, somebody's going to get hurt by the end of this event. It's going to be great.
It's probably Granny.
Yeah, Granny's the one. In her cane, she pulls out. She's got it.
This sounds like what happened to me 5 years ago when I did that wedding in the Poconos, and they insisted on getting married a half a mile from the reception area out in the woods. And they had made the railings out of, saplings and so forth, and, climbing up railroad ties that were filled in between with grass. I mean, it was a nightmare to get the equipment there. And then, but I felt bad for the people that dressed for the wedding, these women in heels, and they're walking through the woods. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, but they did get to sit on log stumps, so they had that going for them.
This sounds familiar. This sounds so familiar. And you know what? I don't think that I've made it a secret that I come from some serious redneck stock. I mean, my father got out of town when I was young. and that's why I talk like I talk. Anyway, my brother's daughter got married, and she got married on her now husband's parents' land. And they wanted to get married at the creek, but it was on the other side of the swamp. And you had to drive an ATV through the swamp to get to the spot to.
Nice.
And you know what the best part about this whole thing was? It was during COVID, so my mother and I didn't have to go.
Bonus.
We dodged it all.
You always find the silver lining, Brian.
Yeah, my mother's like, "Oh, thank God for COVID."
Yeah,
didn't want to deal with it.
That's great.
Oh, funny.
Oh my goodness.
We were talking about freestyle music last night. When you guys took off, we went on this whole freestyle thing, and Buddy was in the room. He was playing some Chicago freestyle. I was playing some real mainstream stuff, and I was pretty happy with myself because I played some stuff that Brian Cade never heard, and I thought he'd heard all that stuff.
Wow.
But I turned him on to some Will to Power. He'd only knew of the Baby I Love Your Way Freebird thing.
Yeah.
But there's a whole other album that's amazing, and it's all freestyle. I don't know how familiar you are with it, John.
It's not something that really has crossed my radar because
boy, it was on the radio here. It was played in the clubs. It was really good. Really, really, really good. And in fact, the guy, Bob Rosenberg, he was a mobile DJ in Miami, and he did mix shows on the radio station, and he did these songs, and he would give them to other radio stations under the name Will to Power, so they didn't know it was from a competitor. And the stuff was like #1 hit on the other radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
So he just became that guy. But anyway, the reason I bring it up is because Buddy was playing some stuff, and a lot of the stuff that he was playing wasn't inspiring to me. And it got me thinking about what I like about song, what I enjoy.
Sure.
There are songs, there's one really big popular freestyle song that is played at like every quinceañera. It's by an artist called Lil Susie. It's called Take Me in Your Arms. I don't like the song. It doesn't have many key changes in it. There's no bridges. There's nothing dramatic that happens in the song. I like drama in my music. I like dramatic key changes. I like bridges. In fact, if there's multiple bridges, I'm happy. I didn't know how you felt about that. If you knew that there was an element that you really enjoyed in the song, if there was anything in particular just caught your attention, is there anything like that?
Yeah, it really, that's not anything that I could point to. I can pick them out. That's not the case, although I still contend that I'm half tone deaf. I was actually, I've heard you guys talking about different genres of music and such, and I come back to these situations, freestyle and other things you've talked about, is that I never really play them because it hasn't been something that's been requested, and it hasn't been something that made my set that I play for my dance floor.
Sure.
And because of that, there's just areas that I'm never going to be a brain surgeon, so I really don't spend much time studying, the anatomy of the brain.
Yeah, totally understand.
And that's where I've really gotten to. And I was thinking the other day, as I'm listening to you guys talk about, you and Jay, the three of you are just going off on talking about these different things. And it's like, should I feel bad that I'm an idiot when it comes to some types of music? Or is that, is it something that does that matter when it comes to the DJ side of it? And I really haven't.
The DJ side of it, no.
Yeah, I'm going to agree because I was playing some of those songs and I didn't know that they were called freestyle. All I knew is that's what they requested.
Right.
It's just it's today. Most Latinos, they like reggaeton, they like hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
And they might like some R&B, but back in the old days, it was all freestyle. That's just what Latinos listen to. And it was English. Most of it was in English. Very little of it was in Spanish. But that was the music of the Latin people. And there was Miami scenes and New Jersey scenes. But when it comes to freestyle, it's not like I'm a mega fan of the genre. They're just songs that I like. And
Is it because of the build of the song with the different elements and such, or is it because some of them are telling a story and some of them maybe not so much?
I don't listen to lyrics.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't listen. That's country. Yeah. You got to remember, you keep this in mind, okay? And I know that I'm the baby of the bunch, but not by much here. But when I was born, I think the number one song was "Joy to the World" by Three Dog Night, which starts off with "Jeremiah was a bullfrog."
Yes,
it was all like
he
this.
was a good friend of mine.
This experimental progressive pop stuff. It didn't mean anything.
No.
Alligator lizards in the air, Ventura Highway. What is that? No one knows. No one cares. It doesn't matter. But if I watch like a YouTube reactor talk about this stuff, what is an alligator lizard? What's he talking about there? You missed all the melody and harmony in the song, which is the best part.
I think you're right, because I did miss that, because I still to this day wonder, why didn't that horse have a name?
Right. And who cares? Right. There's all kinds of stuff that didn't make any sense when we were young. It wasn't like there was a lot of innuendo in the song, but there was also a lot of just weird like prog stuff going on, even in pop music when it comes to lyrics. Mm-hmm. But John, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about and something you could probably relate to, I think perhaps I'm thinking about the Huey Lewis song "Heart and Soul." That song is full of cool bridges and key changes. Mm-hmm. You think about the verse, it kind of sounds like the intro, and then it goes into that bridge. She gets what she wants because she's heart and soul, then it goes down. That's cool. That is stuff that catches my attention, and that's what I like about song. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter what kind of genre it is. Mm-hmm. I like key changes and bridges and things like that. I think they're wonderful. And I was listening to a song the other day that was blowing my mind. "With Your Love," Jefferson Starship. Mm-hmm. The whole song is all bridges. Everything's a bridge in that song. There's not like, okay, here's the chorus, here's the bridge, here's the verse, here's the B section, here's the outro. No, it's all bridges. It's like a weird song that way, and it's cool because they come in so nice. Oh, I love that stuff. I shot high on this topic. I know that, but I thought I'd just bring it up and talk about it.
It's working so far.
As the host of the Tuesday Night Music Show, who's just kind of babbling to himself about this stuff while you guys sit there and say, "When is it going to wrap this and start talking about batteries again?"
Yeah, let's go to gear. We could talk about lighting.
We could talk. No, we could talk music, but I still, if you had your choice, what would you name the horse with a no name?
Horse.
We really need to get this figured out.
A Man Called Horse. Maybe we should call the Horse Man.
It doesn't rhyme. I've been through the desert on a horse named Horse.
About lyrics.
Well, I don't, but I would name the horse Horse.
Horse. Okay.
Saves time.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy extra letters.
Like a dog named Dog kind of thing.
I'd like to buy a vowel right now. I don't know where we're going.
We're just being Tuesday Night Music Show again.
We are.
So as long as we're talking music and such.
Yes.
After the Super Bowl, my children, i.e. my sixth graders specifically, and I mean, just a few minutes ago, he's out here. They're trying to learn how to play the next episode on the piano. And my kids, I was thinking about it. It's like Michael, he was into Snoop Dogg and Dre when he was in that junior high and throughout. And of course, when he would drive the kids to school, he was playing that for them. So then when they saw it on a Super Bowl, it made probably a bigger connection with them that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre were on stage than myself. I thought it was pretty cool. And when Eminem was on the stage, it's like, yeah, I know. But my kids were like, yeah, we like these two. You're sixth graders. What's up?
The next episode is a sample. And
I think so.
From a musician who's an actor who was on NCIS for a long time. And it's like this progressive jazz album.
Hmm.
That's the sample.
They sampled it from that.
I'd play it for you, but we get flagged.
Yeah.
But I'll share it with you after the broadcast, and you can turn the kids on to this. And it's mostly, well, there's some guitar in there and a lot of horns.
Mm-hmm.
But I will turn you on to it after the show. But it's a sample, and the name of it slips my mind. The guy's name slips my mind. But he did like this progressive jazz stuff. Just
sure,
he did it in the late '60s, maybe, and Dre sampled it for that. Did a nice job with it. I think it's a cool sample. Either here nor there.
Coming from a jazz, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a jazz, like a progressive jazz sample track. What would I kind of? It's like when you watch '60s movies and you hear the music in the background. It's that kind of music.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like not like hit songs, but the movie soundtrack music.
Sure.
While somebody's creeping around the house or whatever. You know what I mean? It's that kind of song.
And there it is. Where have I heard that riff before? Oh yeah, that's
Have a conversation with Howie. I'll figure out what it's called so we won't leave our viewers hanging for the broadcast here.
Yeah, if you can find that and such.
I will.
But yeah, as I was kind of watching and listening and thinking about this and the response you've seen from so many people on the Super Bowl halftime thing, it really was making me wonder. Initially, I thought, okay, we might be able to introduce a song or two back into our playlist for the summer based on the people of that era and that age that are still going to be hitting the dance floor. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, if I have that in our household, there's probably many other households who have a similar situation, and we may have a time where we'll have junior hires that are going to be like knowing that stuff, and then it brought me back to, okay, when Snoop came out the first time, and people were really some of the schools were like, yeah, can you not play his type of music because he's a pothead and we don't want to have that here,
right?
And I'm wondering to myself, is that going to even be a part of the discussion anymore, or has that ship sailed?
I don't think so. Not these days.
Yeah, they'll be like, yeah, play that one. Yeah. We can definitely.
And I have a feeling you might be onto something there, John. Like, well, I used to have like, a secret crate that I would pull songs from that people hadn't heard in a long time. Yeah. And then Guardians of the Galaxy came out, and the kids were asking for these older songs. And I think this may be the new Guardian of the Galaxy, this Super Bowl set. I mean, there was all good songs, I thought. I mean,
and if you watch the charts, because I get the charts ready to go up on tomorrow. Tomorrow the email will go out with the weekly printable charts. Is that it wasn't just the couple of songs they played; they went a little bit deeper into the catalog of some of these artists.
Oh,
so yeah, there were 5 or 6 songs that went up there.
Good.
So yeah, it will be an interesting thing to see what we will see if that will be with coming into proms, if that will be part of that request system, or we get into weddings this summer and people are going to want to hear more than just California Love type of thing.
Right.
Usually when it's like, yeah, can you play some of that? Okay, great. Which one would you like? Which one do you know? Well, we know California Love. Oh, okay.
Oh,
okay.
Well,
that one works.
I guess we'll play that then. Yeah, California Love is usually a pretty safe bet. I never have a problem with it, as well as, and I followed up with the East Coast Notorious B.I.G. Hypnotized. There's a very clean version of that I can play.
Yeah, that way you're covering both coasts. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like, here it is. And if they really, really want more, I'll do More Money, More Problems.
That's when the fight started.
Yeah, exactly. That's when Grandma pulls out her shiv, and next thing you know.
I'm
Grandma, no!
Oh, God.
Don't do it, Grandma. Remember the last time you did it at the senior bingo? It was terrible.
Okay, so have either one of you watched NCIS?
Oh, I do all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on our TV quite an awful lot, but typically I'm doing shows, but it is there, and I've gotten
the guy right there, David McCallum.
Okay.
Oh,
who plays
he used to be
so-and-so.
He used to be in Secret Agent back in the 60s.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
That's the guy who plays the song. That's the sample of the next episode, which I'll play, which I have queued up for you, and I'll play it for you.
Play it after the show. Yeah,
that's
Very
the
cool.
guy.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very cool.
The song is called "The Edge."
The Edge.
By the way,
so you guys can go
David-
check it out.
David McCallum, "The Edge" is the sample for next episode.
And he's had quite a career. He's had 2 hit TV shows, now music, and the guy's in his 80s.
Well, it did the music a long time ago. I think, British actor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm full of useless information, and I'm always happy to share it with my friends on
He was
DJNTV.
in Man from Uncle also.
Who's in music? Yes, he was.
Oh, that's what it was. Man from Uncle.
Yes,
Man from
Lori.
Uncle. That's it.
Lori chiming in there. Thank you, Lori.
Yep. Thank you, Lori.
Lori came to save the day.
She did. She did.
As always.
Yeah.
Oh, she saved the day too on the way back. We stopped. John dropped me off at Lori's because so I pick up my truck, but she made us lasagna. Saved the day. So we had a very lovely lasagna dinner, and John is actually he'll be home in about 45 minutes.
Oh goodness, that was a longer drive than I thought it was between the two of you.
Yeah. Well, the
10
rain, and then
Yeah,
it was just but it was worth it. It was just it really was. It was a cool road trip.
Mhm.
It really was.
So as we're moving into what will be our wedding season here in a few months,
Mhm.
what kind of things are on your itinerary to work on between now and wedding season?
I think I'm good.
Is there anything that's like on that checklist?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, what I have to do is just test everything that goes out on, for the larger events.
Sure.
Because I have one booked in April. And believe it or not, while we were down visiting Jimmy, I got an email back or a message back from someone that had asked 2 weeks ago. And I gave him I don't really want to do this wedding price.
Mhm.
And they said, we would like to book you for May 13th. And I'm like, okay, I'm in North Carolina right now, and I'll give you a call on Wednesday. And I'm like, wow, okay, great. So
Typically on my end, I'm the guy who books everything last minute. So
Mhm.
I'm not the guy who books a year and a half in advance. I'm the guy they call 6 months out.
Yeah.
And I've done this week. I booked a June quinceañera. I know why I take another quinceañera. I like the abuse, I guess. And
Sure.
I took a July wedding this morning. So I actually, in the last 2 days, I've done that.
Mhm.
So yeah, stuff's
Yeah.
coming in, but
it is picking up.
I mean, geez, I've got the new Provent table in black. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
lights work fine. The mixing board works fine. The speakers are great. It's running the 30 M's for anything under 150, and it's working great for me. What am I going to do? I think I'm good.
Mhm.
I really do. I don't know what. I don't really need to buy anything. If I work on something, it would be something like a personal skill or something intellectual that I need to work on or something. But I can't think of anything I have to purchase before I get going.
I don't have to purchase anything, but I do something that I've always done. Since that system hasn't been used since Beret, I will set the whole thing up, everything, lights, sound system. I'll set the whole thing up. Make sure, hey, did I maybe take a cord from this, particular case and
Sure.
use it somewhere? I don't want to be at the gig and go, I can't plug in my
Whoops.
speaker.
Yeah.
Hey, I almost had a gig in January, so I was all ready to go. Everything was updated.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I went through everything. I spent all week going through
Getting
cable
ready.
bags and updating tablets and computers and
I
music
remember
and
that.
get everything just right. Every little thing that was wrong with stuff when the season ended, I fixed that week.
And you even
I'm
had
ready
a
to go.
contract. You even had a contract.
Yeah.
You were,
Wow.
yeah. And then,
Mm.
What are you gonna do? But I mean, I got paid. So it is what it is. But
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I already did all that. I guess what I'm getting at.
Mhm.
So I have nothing I have to do.
beyond charge up if there's anything to charge, and off you go.
It's funny you mentioned that. I had things on the charger last night because we had a bit of an ice storm today.
Yep.
So I just in case nothing happened, but we had lights if there was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if we wanted to dance, we could too, I guess. But I'm sure we wouldn't be doing that. I'm sure we would just be, trying to see,
What a great plan. Don't worry, honey. If the power goes out, we're going to have dance lights. This is going to be awesome.
Really good plan.
And I've got this tablet and I've got this Bluetooth battery powered speaker. We are set.
I don't know what's wrong with me, John. And I'll make this confession here. I haven't said this to anybody, but as soon as I heard the ice was coming, I immediately charged up all my Ape lights. And then I said, you know what? I need to charge all my power tool batteries. I don't know why, but I did. So I was running back and forth, swapping batteries and getting all my tools. What am I going to do? Put an addition on the house when the power goes out, but I'm ready for all this stuff.
Well,
oh, the lights went out. Quick, we need to hang this piece of sheetrock.
Right.
Where's mine?
Where's my jigsaw?
I need it. We're going to cut that window out finally.
Well, I was thinking in my head, I don't know, battery powered stuff is good to have, but the power's not out. You'd wish you'd had it if you didn't have it charged.
Yeah.
So I charged the jump box, the diehard jump box. That's, I don't know how good that is anymore, but you can plug stuff into it. You can plug AC stuff into it.
Yeah.
And all the Craftsman batteries, all the Milwaukee batteries, all the Ryobi batteries, all the Toro batteries are charged.
You were ready.
Okay, so really, honestly, the reason I charge things, I started to, was because I have an electric jacket.
Okay.
And it was going to get cold, and I didn't want to not have a battery for my electric jacket. Blanca, she can freeze, I don't care, but I wasn't going to get cold. So I was trying to make sure that my jacket was ready. So I charged the battery, and then it just kept going. And I don't know.
And then there's that battery, and then there's that battery, and then
might as well while we're at it.
Yeah.
While we're at it, might as well. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So circling back for summer, what there's one thing that I wanted to work on this year is to get the whole antenna combining into fins for some of these ceremonies. This is the summer I'm actually going to spend the money and get the proper tools to do it instead of basically using bubble gum and aluminum foil to
lift it up in the air as high as you can.
Exactly. Excuse me, Mr. Pastor, we're having problems. Can you hold the microphone like this when you're talking? The group's too tall.
Right. No.
Do you really think that's necessary for a ceremony? I mean, I haven't had any problem with the half-wave antennas. Not once.
I've had a couple of problems, and I'm not exactly sure if it was a frequency issue. I did find out one of the times I had one of my half waves, the wires in it, or the connection into the thing there was a break in it. So it wasn't doing anything. I didn't realize that. And I started paying attention to it. And it's like, wait a second, it's not showing anything being received on this side, but everything's being received here. Everything's being received here, but nothing over here. And then, then I pulled it apart and looked, and it's like, oh, it's not making contact with the unit. So, but yeah, there's just times where most ceremonies I won't need it, but there's going to be a couple of times where we're in a longer distance, or I want to be able to take a microphone and walk halfway across a yard that has a huge tent. Right. And I would like to have that capability to be able to go into, all the way over where they've got food in that pole shed, because it seems my summer is going to be doing barn weddings, and I'm going to be outdoors once again. And that's okay. I can certainly handle that, but I think it's time to up that part. I haven't really done much with microphones in a number of years, so that's going to be my big one. Other than that, the 30M is going to be the interesting gear-wise for speakers of how much I'm going to use that this summer.
A lot.
because after you had said this fall that was kind of your go-to, I've had a
Yes.
couple of smaller events that had under 100 people, and I used the 30Ms, and they didn't even sweat.
The 30Ms, I've used them for 150 plus, whether you advise that I do it or not. And what's so nice about it is I'm not losing anyone.
Yeah.
People are having conversations. They're not screaming at each other, so that's not fatiguing them. They're not leaving the room to have conversations. Yet my dance floor is hot, and I don't know if it's just a perception that I have, but I think I got better bass response in that thing than my 50s.
Oh,
It's tighter.
I can just see the comments now. Like, no, you cannot go over 75 people with those things. No,
yeah.
No, what you need is an ETX system. That's what you really need.
Yeah, you need an ETX for over 75.
it's like,
Well, I like to bring, I like the portability of my 30Ms, but then, when I have that
They're
76th person, then I like to bring in before the ETX subs to add to it.
Yes, you need to add
right.
subs.
Perfect sense.
Yeah, well, that one extra person, it does.
I need those subs for that one extra person, because that's just, it's over the 75 and you've got to be prepared.
Well, my friend.
Well, I have a quick question for you, both of you guys.
Okay.
Your events that you have coming up, in the fall and summer, are you finding they're smaller this year? My wedding is it's only 75 people invited. You know what that means? Probably less will show up.
No, maybe, yeah.
I think though that's going to be a lesser thing than it was those last 2 years. It used to be that you'd think that roughly 75 of the invites or 75% would show. And then this past year for us, it was somewhere between 40 and 50% of the invites were showing, or actually RSVPs this summer. It was horrible here for us. I think we're going to get back hopefully to the RSVP, and you'll have 10% off of your RSVP, 75% of those you invite will RSVP type of thing. I'm hoping we're going to get back to that kind of numbers, because it's really tough to have a happy bride when she had 175 people say that we're going to be there, and then she counts 73 people total there, and she's paying for food for close to 200 people because she didn't want to run out of food. So I'm hoping we're going to be beyond that.
I tell you, the most fun wedding that I had last year, the most fun wedding I had, and I think back on it, it was the one I was dreading the most. And it was a black wedding on the north side of town, which is not my side of town. It's the opposite side of town. I'm on the south side. It was for my friend, Andy's really good friend's girlfriend's daughter. And it was mixed, black, Latino, and his grandparents were white. 25 people. They cooked for 100 in a room behind the church, like the what do you call it?
Probably fellowship hall.
Parsonage?
No. The where they talk. The guy preaches. That's the whatever room.
Sanctuary.
No.
You know what I'm talking about. Whatever.
Yeah.
Not the theater or whatever you call it. And they had like an activity. It's kind of like like you said, it's like that, the activity center or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be the fellowship hall.
Fellowship hall. There you go. Yeah. I had that in a Mormon.
I like that word.
So anyway, tons of food. But I had told the bride about the family hour concept, where you mix it up for everybody, since there was a little bit of everybody there. Very reluctantly. I mean, very reluctantly. She's like, I guess. I started doing this. All 25 people danced all night.
Wow.
I started with 25. I ended with 25.
Wow.
It was the most fun event.
That's great.
It was so intimate. And you knew everyone's name, and you just knew, okay, grandma's going to dig this, so they're going to join in. They wouldn't normally dance to it, but since grandma's doing it, they're all going to join in. And not only do they join in, but they do a Soul Train line about it. And then grandma wouldn't normally dance to this, but since the kids are, she's going to jump in on it too. Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. So I'm not worried about how many people. The concern that I have usually has more to do with the size of the venue. If they've got a venue for 200 and they got 50 people there, it seems sparse.
Right.
But if you've got the right people in the room, it doesn't matter. You've got 25 right people there, you're good.
Yeah.
If 25 does show up, you got a problem. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think for the talking numbers with some of the weddings, when I've had that conversation with them, I've got some that are wanting the 300-person wedding, that they think they're going to get 300 guests. A couple of them are talking that way. Some of these barn.
Wow.
Sure.
But the many of them, that are doing these smaller backyard type things. So I'm probably going to see more under 150 than I'll see above 150 for sure.
Backyards are weird though, John. I don't know if it's like that where you live, but I know, of course, Blanca and her family. If we say that we're going to have a few people over, right, and we invite, let's say, I don't know, let's say that we invite 5 couples over for like a holiday or something, they bring people, and you don't have enough food every single time.
Yeah.
So there's always more that come. It's the same thing with the quinceañeras. They can plan for 150, but you better count on 250 because they're just going to bring people. I know that sounds rude, but that's how the culture works. And they're welcome. That's just how it is. So sometimes those informal events are more informal events where you don't necessarily have to have the head count for dinner. You could get more than you thought.
Sure. Yeah, and it's been a long time since I've had one that has exceeded numbers like that, and it has happened in the past. Generally, if it's there's the city celebrations going on, and because it's everyone comes home for the city celebration, they're getting married that weekend, and then they're doing the dance out at the farm, and the city 2 miles away is when the town thing, and at some point in time, it seems like everybody from the town, the band in town, came out there. We were supposed to only have 150 people, and all of a sudden we've got 500 people under a tent. I mean, that's happened a couple of times over the years, but not recently. So it'll be an interesting year to see how numbers and how people are interacting and reacting when it comes to the events here.
I remember Stevie wanted a 50-person. She wanted a tiny little 50-person wedding. That's what she wanted, and her mom told her, "Hey, you know what? Just invite 100 because 50 are going to say no." And that way her mom got her people on the list too.
Sure.
Well, 100 people showed up. So she was happy and not happy all at the same time. It was kind of interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buddy.
You never know with this stuff.
Let's see. Johnny asked in the chat room there. Let's hit that one, and then we probably should wrap things up here.
Yeah, let's just get out.
Alrighty.
Taking bookings into 2024. Actually, that's an interesting, because I've had some people requesting information for 2023. I had 2 of them actually last week that did this, and I looked at the dates, and it's like, really? These legit? I assumed it was just somebody that was messing with the system or some spam thing, but they were actually we're planning 2023 events. So how far would you take a booking in this day and age?
I would be very suspicious of somebody wanting something in 2024, even 2023. Like you said, like are they just messing with me or what?
Let's just say it's a legitimate prospect, but not someone like a family member or a close friend, but it's someone that you've talked to enough to say that it's a legitimate event.
I would take the booking.
I'll take whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
See, and I think at this point in time and where I'm at in the DJ thing, I would probably question booking out to 2024. And the reason, unless it was a local thing or it was fairly, but I mean, if it was in a Minneapolis or a drive and it wasn't an optimal event for me, I would not probably pass on it at this time, being that far out, because I don't know. I mean, I enjoy what I do, but I don't know if the opportunity came to, go and spend the day plugging batteries in with Brian Red all day and get out of the DJ world, I'd probably really think about that. Because it's.
I think that I'm going to be doing this until I'm dead. So I mean, I don't think I have a choice either. So
one thing I wouldn't do, I wouldn't take a deposit for 2024.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, maybe you have an agreement.
Put it on the books and then say, hey, look,
let's revisit it.
Visit it, and I have your email, and we'll talk.
Your reserve, no one can have it, but that might be how I would handle it. If somebody else wants
that date, then I would call them and go, hey, somebody wanted your date. Are you still good for that?
Still want to do that?
Yeah.
It's exactly how I would handle it. Exactly. Yeah. And that's just because it's once bitten, twice shy. With all this cancellation crap.
And Johnny mentions, of course, that the price is not knowing what his price will be in 2024. That was one of the things that bit me back, a number of years ago when we were doing multiple shows, is we were booking shows 2 to 3 years in advance. And that was during the time we went from doing a wedding at $495 to $695 to $895 to $1295. So we were doing the year that we should have been, everyone that was at $895 that summer. We had weddings on the books that were $495. And then I had DJs on staff that were like, okay, this weekend you're an $895 DJ. Next weekend you're a $495 DJ. And then and they were like, well, what's it's just they were booked at difference. Well, is my pay going to be any different?
What if you anticipated a 10% price increase per year? So if it was 2 years out,
it'd be 20%. You'd have to do something like that. Yeah, you'd have to do something like that.
And if they didn't want to do it, they didn't want to do it.
Yeah. So it's a good
question.
Too easy, because then you get to that point is okay. So let's say we book a 2024 event, and right now we're booking, just for easy numbers, we're booking it at $1,000. Well, if I add things to my services, and now I've been able to have this really cool new light show that some guy that programs them on an iPad has helped me set up. I've got this cool thing. And did you see my new speakers? I've got these surround sound evolves out here, and it does this incredible thing. And then I have somebody who comes and hands chocolates out during the dance. It's incredible. This is my new package. And now my package is $2,500, and people are paying it every weekend, and they're loving it.
And in 2024, everyone's going to want the holographic Michael Jackson to lead them in the Thriller dance.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a thing. You're going to go to a show, you're going to have to buy it.
And
it'll be some weird company like Max Photo Booth who makes it. and everyone's going to have it. And he's the only one who's got it, and everybody wants it.
And they're going to want the hologram.
You got to have the holographic Michael Jackson doing the Thriller dance.
So there you go. You got it, Johnny. You add that to your 2024 package, and then you can raise your rates.
Mm-hmm. And gas is $30 a gallon.
Yeah. Well, there'll be that too.
No. Let's not go there.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone. That one's going to get ugly quick, but that's a.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't know what's going to happen.
That's true. That's
why it's hard to
put numbers on paper right now, realistically, because we just don't know. Yeah,
so. It was
good stuff. Well, gentlemen, it's almost to the top of the hour here. We should wrap things up.
Yes.
Let's see. Next week, Jay should be back, and we can get all the fun reports from Las Vegas. I'm kind of excited about that one. I might have to actually come in and sit in on that one. And
you should come in more often. We like it when you come in.
Well, and that's it's a little tougher to do it from the office, because then I have the heat thermostat set on a schedule. Okay. And it shuts off about 9 o'clock. So by this time out there, I'm cold. Really cold. So now a smart guy would be able to figure out how to change the time settings and fix it. I've tried, but then it just doesn't reset itself.
Now that you're stuck in the house, you can.
But now I'm in the house. Yeah. So I went. This is Michael's bedroom here at the when he's off to college. So
half of a guitar on the wall.
Yeah. He had his guitar over there, and
there it is.
There were skateboards and different things. My sixth grader came in here and he's like, okay, I'm going to get everything set up so that if you do the green screen thing, that it'll look really good. And he's right. It did. He had lights set up, but one of the lights we were using in the front is a battery operated one, and I forgot to charge it. So
it's okay. You were still gorgeous.
So you should have been at Brian's house. He would
exactly. If I would have,
I had him charged up. Yeah,
exactly. I mean,
in all fairness, those drills have little LED lights on them when you pull the trigger, so that was a flashlight.
There you go.
That would be so much help. Yeah, it just didn't work. Oh well.
Thank you
once again. Thank you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.